Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Hey guys, welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. I am the great and peaceful Mr. E.
And I'm Jay. I'm at peace today.
What is it? 356 or something like that hertz.
Oh yeah, 427 hertz.
Some number.
Yeah. Just so glad it's Friday.
This week's animal is probably the most peaceful Zen animal on this entire list.
Yeah, until my dad runs it over with a truck.
I mean, no animal is very peaceful when you run it over with a truck.
He actively I remember as a kid he would target them.
Poor things.
I know.
This is probably the only. Animal gets misblamed for so much stuff here in the U.S.
Misblamed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's like, it's these stinging things' fault, and it's obviously a different animal. We're going to talk about the opossum, specifically Virginianus didyelvis.
The opossum or just possum?
Opossum. Very.
You have to say?
Yeah, so because there's over 100 species of possum in the world.
Okay.
The opossum, or the Virginia possum, is the one we have here in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Because it's only marsupial.
It's a marsupial?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that.
They have pouches.
Didn't realize that.
So it's kind of crazy. Pretty much the only marsupial that left Australia is possums. But there's tons of species of possum.
Right.
One that me and Emily wanted for a long time that we're still always looking for is golden possums.
Ooh.
Which are small. They're like a guinea pig-sized breed of possum from South America.
I gotta look at that.
They look like Pikachu.
No way.
Yeah.
Was that the inspiration?
I doubt it, because I'm pretty sure they were discovered after, or I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. So the opossum is a successful scavenger, thanks to their ability, or their adaptability and their excellent immune system. These guys don't get sick very often, which is one of the freaky facts we're going to talk about.
Interesting.
Of the 100+ species of possum in the world, the most common recognizable one in the United States is the Virginia possum. And like I said, this is a scientific name I didn't even have to look up.
You already knew.
Virginianus didyelvis.
Didyelvis.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
It's named after Elvis Presley.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Don't know.
Oh, maybe he was a possum lover.
No, but literally in the middle of the scientific name is Elvis.
Yeah.
But Elvis isn't Elvis. It's the easiest one to remember. So these guys average, between 21 and 36 inches long. They have a prehensile tail. So what that means is their tail is like a fifth limb. So most animals you should not pick up by the tail because it hurts their spine. It can disconnect their spinal cord and stuff like this. Possums are one of the animals it's okay to because they actually can hold their whole weight on their tail. They're designed to.
Right. I mean, that's all the depictions you see them as hanging from their tail,
which we'll talk about. I'm sorry, I had the scientific name reversed.
Didyelvis
Virginianus. Now that's that dyslexia for you.
Well, it happens.
They get 4 to 15 pounds. These guys don't live super long in the wild.
They don't?
No, like on average, they only live to be 2 to 3. It's probably because of people.
What? Only 2 to 3 years?
Yeah.
They look so old.
Yes, they have a rough life.
Yeah, apparently
They're bullied by pretty much everything else in nature.
Gosh.
The reason there's so many of them is because they have a lot of babies and they do a lot of parental care.
Okay.
But these guys have a ton of teeth that we'll talk about, but their bite force is super weak.
Is it?
Yeah. I've been chewed on by a possum.
Yeah.
Never broke the skin. And they can. I'm sure they can. But possums are a lot more they look scary.
Yeah, they do. They look gross and scary.
They don't have a lot of anything behind that, like that face.
But their fur is surprisingly soft.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jay does have a fanny pack that is an entire possum.
Yes. And the way to get inside is you pull the drawstring strap on its butthole.
So playing possum. When threatened or actually harmed, these animals will play possum. They mimic the appearance and smell of a dead or sick animal.
The smell.
They have a gland that releases a scent.
I think I've smelled it. It's gross.
Their lips will draw back. Their teeth will be bared. Their saliva foaming from the mouth. The foul-smelling liquid comes out of their anal glands.
Mm-hmm.
Although the word playing suggests a conscious act, they are not doing this on purpose.
What do you mean?
They actually, it's now more studies. It's an unconscious thing like fainting goats.
Oh, really?
They can't control it.
Really?
They get so stressed out, it just kind of, they have a seizure.
Yeah, and they played, well, they're dead, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, playing dead, but...
It's just like they get so worked up that they just kind of have a little seizure. And it is a trait that ended up working for them.
Right.
So the ones that had these little kind of mini seizures end up surviving and breeding.
Like, carried that trait on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fainting goats.
Yeah.
And it works. So when we used to run coon dogs and stuff like that, they'd get a possum every once in a while. We never wanted them to kill a possum. And, you know, it's kind of hard to get a dog to stop.
Killing something.
Yeah, especially when they're bred to do this with raccoons.
Yeah, exactly.
But the possums would just kind of play dead. And a lot of times the dogs would grab it and it wouldn't be fighting. So they wouldn't hurt it. They just carry it back because like, okay, they must already shot it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then drop it. And then it's like, you could touch it. It wouldn't move. You walk away and you come back later. It's gone.
Gone, yeah.
Luke, my brother, actually picked one up one time, a wild one.
Yeah.
And in college, I knew several guys that just would pick them up.
Like the one that were playing dead or
No,
what?
that were still
Alive.
awake. And they hiss and they show their teeth and
Yeah.
you pick them up. And then most of the time they're just like,
Okay.
you called the bluff.
Yeah.
I don't really got anything.
I've heard them hiss. It's scary.
So Virginia possums are located all the way from Central America all the way up to the eastern half of the U.S., as well as parts of the West Coast. They kind of avoid the desert. They're not very good at it.
Yeah.
So they kind of will follow the coastal regions on both sides of the states and then come up to anywhere there's green. Where possums had just been introduced during the Great Depression. So they were actually spread to the West Coast in some parts by people.
Oh, nice.
These guys, their only limiting factor in the U.S. is the cold line. And this is an expansion territory. The last 10 years, possums have expanded north. Winters are getting less harsh. So why do you think it's so dependent on them when raccoons and stuff like that are living all the way up through Canada?
What do you mean?
So literally in Michigan is kind of where they stop.
Yeah.
And it's because their tails have no fur.
Right, yeah.
And their hands have no fur.
Yep, makes sense.
So frostbite is a big factor of these guys.
Big killer,
And their coats are very thin. So as winters are getting weaker, these guys are actually able to move up. Like our cabin in Michigan is literally above the possum line a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like the last 2 years is the first time we've ever seen a possum.
Nice, okay.
The porcupines are not happy.
Porcupines?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Share dens. The possum just doesn't care. So yeah, they guys prefer anything with woods, swamps, wetlands. They're extremely adaptable. They are successful in a variety of habitats and climates. The most important element is a possum home range is food, water, and shelter. If you're feeding cats outside, you're also feeding a possum.
I actually had an experience with that.
So possums don't build their own dens. They just kind of find a hole and hopefully it's not somebody else's.
Would they would they do it with groundhog dens too?
They'll just kind of stick in a hole and just hope nobody else lives here.
Because that happened at our house.
Oh yeah,
We had a big fat possum living in a groundhog den. Those are all gone now though, since we got the chows.
So opossums are opportunistic omnivores. They eat a wide variety of animal and plant matter. While they're mainly scavengers, and this is kind of a big misconception we'll talk about here in a minute. While they're mainly scavengers, they feed on dead animals and plant matter. They also love insects and occasionally hunt small animals like chicks and snakes.
Ooh.
Anybody that says like possum killed a bunch of your chickens, I highly doubt it.
It was a raccoon.
It's a raccoon or a fox or something. I'm not saying you didn't find a possum in the chicken coop the next day.
But it didn't kill him.
99% of the time, they're just after eggs.
Yeah.
Like, they're not killing a chicken. I mean, there's some super huge possums that maybe can kill a chicken. These guys are not very good predators.
Yeah.
They're really good snake predators.
One time when I was probably about like 12 or 13, I was playing basketball out in our barn, and I left to go outside back to the house. Right when I walked out the front door, there was a big possum eating into our dog food, and it saw me, and it was so big. I think we had been feeding it for quite a while. This thing was so massive and fat, like, I'm not even joking. It was like a 5-gallon bucket.
They get big.
And it saw me, and it tried to run away, but it just waddled really slow, like fast away. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Big thing.
It's just...
It was funny. It was really funny. And then the same thing happened with the raccoon probably like 3 months later. Big, fat raccoon we were feeding for who knows how long. Until I caught him.
So here's a weird thing. So these guys are marsupials. So they have a 13-day gestation period, which is super fast.
Yeah.
Because they actually finish their gestation inside the pouch.
Okay.
So they give birth to like premature, like preemies.
Yeah, like little pink little.
They look like jelly beans.
Yeah, I've seen that before on like an Animal Planet or something. And they crawl up their belly into the pouch.
Weird thing is they have 13 nipples.
There's an odd number of nipples.
I know, it's super weird to me.
That's the freaky fun fact. 13 nipples.
So they stay in the pouch for 50 days after that. So technically, it's 63 days.
Wow.
Is the whole gestation period.
Right. Yeah.
But they'll be living with their mom up to 100 days.
That's awesome. All hanging off their back and stuff.
And yeah, they do that. And we talked about the hiss, and they kind of show their teeth, and they try. They rarely bite. And I'm not saying a possum won't bite you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare for them to resort to an actual bite.
Okay.
Even though they show in their teeth and all this stuff, it's just...
You have to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, you really got to stick your hand in there, and then a lot of times they probably won't bite you still.
Yeah.
But it's not a part of their defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It's really acting scary and preying.
Right.
They are very good climbers. Here's something you probably didn't know. They are also excellent swimmers.
Oh, really?
So all these islands in the lower Great Lakes and some of these Mississippi islands and stuff like that only have possums on them. They don't have raccoons or nothing else on them because possums can swim very well.
They're like a little marmot. What are those things? Muskrats.
Yeah, there you go. So these guys, like I said, they get blamed for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much just eat eggs from birds. Now, if turkey populations do have some problems with possums being overabundant because they'll eat all the turkey eggs.
Right.
But if a turkey's standing there, they're not going to walk up and eat a turkey egg. These guys also eat a ton of ticks.
Yeah.
Up to 5,000 a year.
That's awesome.
It's even been observed in the wild that they'll set up feeding stations off a deer and stuff like that to eat all the ticks off them. They're very good. Their body temperature is too low to contract rabies.
Wow.
And I'm going to say most of the time.
Yeah.
Because there's always that weird off chance.
Yeah.
So possums pretty much don't carry rabies or any other diseases that most other mammals carry. So it's very, very difficult to get a disease from a possum.
Yeah.
Because their body temperature is literally so low. It's one of the lowest of any mammal.
Interesting. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. And yeah, so any questions so far?
No, you're kind of making me want to start a little possum farm.
I love possums. So we've tried our friends have tried to house possums and stuff like that. They get hit, like mom got hit by a car or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And then me and Emily eventually would love to have a possum as a pet. If you get them from breeders and stuff, they make good pets.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like a wild cat, people own those too.
And after, well, you're right, yeah. But that's a little different.
It's a little different.
After looking up that golden possum, I kind of really want one of them now too.
They're pretty pricey.
Well, I can understand why. They look awesome.
Me and Emily went to breed them. We talked about that.
That'd be awesome.
And they're pretty friendly too.
I'd be a customer.
Cool thing is these guys love eating snakes.
Ooh.
Specifically venomous snakes.
Really?
Yeah.
Does the venom not affect them?
Yeah, they can survive up to, what was it? It's 100 rattlesnake, timber rattler bites.
What?
In one night.
What?
Possums have been witnesses to have little baby timber rattlers and stuff like that still lodged in their back.
Wow.
Just dumping venom in there, just don't care.
Wow.
And it's probably to do with their metabolism. They can metabolize the venom extremely fast. And there's videos of them eating like rattlesnakes alive as they're getting bit in the face.
So if you ever live in Australia, just CRISPR yourself.
They have possums.
Splice some possum. I'm just saying, splice possum DNA into you, and you'll be fine. You can actually explore the jungles in Australia.
There you go. But yeah, they're immune to most snake venoms.
That's crazy.
I've watched them eat coral snakes, one of the most venomous snakes here in the U.S.
Yeah.
They're eating like a coral snake, and the coral snake's biting them, and they're
Actually
just like,
biting, they're just chewing on it. Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, their bite force is so weak too. It's just
that's crazy. So they're just
why
chewing.
they mostly eat venomous snakes is because venomous snakes will stay on the ground.
Yeah, so they won't leave.
Yeah, like the fast snakes, like black racers and stuff.
Yeah,
that run.
Even
they
gardener
have no
snakes.
chance.
Yeah,
because the possum is so slow.
So slow.
So that's been your possum facts.
That's awesome. There's a lot more than the possum. Just that common little animal you see on the side of the road that my dad tries to hit every time he sees one.
Don't hit him. Guys, seriously, I hate ticks. And these guys...
Maybe this will be the call to save the possums. They're not the scary, gross rats that you imagine they are when you see them.
Yeah, they have more teeth than any other mammal in North America.
Oh, that's a freaky fun fact.
50 teeth.
50, wow.
And it is the only marsupial in the U.S.
That's pretty awesome.
So it feels special.
Yeah.
And I think, for the most part, opossums as a family, are the only marsupials off the continent of Australia. Because marsupials, it's kind of weird. There were marsupials everywhere. They did not fare well against what's considered a modern mammal.
Okay.
And it's probably due to the reproductive system.
Yeah.
Because they have an intermediate reproductive system compared to like modern mammals versus,
like a giraffe. Just craps out a full-on giraffe. Like, he's ready to go once he hits the ground. He's up and he's...
They have a 50-50 shot, though, of dying in birth.
But if he makes it, he's ready to go.
If they land on their head, they're pretty much done.
Yeah, I guess so.
So here's your freaky fauna highlight for the weekend, going into the weekend. It's fall. You're going to start seeing a lot of these as, corn starts coming off and stuff like that. You're going to start seeing a lot of these mammals. Don't hit them.
Don't hit them.
Just let them cross the road. I mean, I don't personally like raccoons. I just even had a raccoon problem last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But no animal should be targeted to be, ran over.
Right.
But possums get the short end of the stick because they're so slow.
Right, yeah. They can't help it.
There's not a lot a possum actually does besides eat eggs.
Yeah, they're positive beings.
I can't tell you how many kids have called me because I run the poultry department about, a possum killing 50 chickens, in one night. That was not a possum. And they're like, oh, we found the possum in the coop. No, you found a possum in the coop. I'm not doubting you.
Yeah.
He was there at the wrong time. The raccoon probably came in after him and scared the hell out of him, too.
The raccoon probably is the one that opened the hole to let the possum in. Yeah.
Yeah, because possums aren't pulling open a door.
No.
All right. I've been the great and powerful mystery.
No, the great and peaceful.
Great and peaceful.
Right, and I've been Jay.
We'll catch you next week with more freaky fauna facts. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.